They would just turn up at the gate and say, "Oh, we're here to pick up whatever."
Yeah.
And they would just automatically be let in. And somebody nicked a grand piano. It's absolutely true. They turned up at the gate in a big van.
A very lax security at the
And I
gate.
think they just, they see people in brown coats, they think, oh, they're just obviously, they don't bother people asking them why they're here.
Pro tip, if you ever go to the BBC, go with a big van and wear a brown coat.
Yeah.
That's what I would.
Have I just aided and abetted something?
Janet, the jacket that you had,
Yeah.
that was in, now is that the same one that you wore in?
Yeah, that was the one that I wore in Power of the Doctor. And
It's not a replica, it's the actual jacket.
it's the one. This is the costume. The jeans are different, but this is the shirt and the coat. No, the shoes are different.
What the watch?
The watch is fine. No. You don't wear a watch. You don't wear a watch in a time travel story, generally speaking.
Thanks for your question. Go ahead.
Hello. This
I
question
didn't
goes-
answer. Sorry, I didn't say.
Did you nick anything?
Yeah. We used to we did filming first and then do the studio stuff second. And John Nathan Turner loved to have a party, so we had a party afterwards. And Bonnie Langford did her party piece, which is brilliant singing, and I played the spoons. And John Nathan Turner said, "We've got to have the spoons in Doctor Who." I thought he was joking, but no, he wasn't. So in the very first scene I did with Kate O'Mara, I had found a thing in the machine that looked like spoons, and I played them all over her front. My goodness, did they bounce? All over her front. Yes, all over her front. And so I nicked those.
They don't do that now.
Sylvester would.
Yeah.
Unless you're wearing a brown coat, then it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. Do you
Sorry,
remember
it's
your
not
question?
about the spoons, but my question goes to Peter. You actually played two famous doctors, one Doctor Who and also one doctor on All Creatures Great and Small. If you could you pick a favorite? What would be your favorite show?
This is a minefield, isn't it? I think that,
Sticking a hand up a dog.
yeah, sticking up an hand of a cow, you can't beat it. I know, I think All Creatures was very special because it was very early on. I was termed a BBC newcomer when I did that part, and it was a great part to play. So I probably have fondest memories of that. The Doctor Who, I wouldn't have missed it for the world, don't get me wrong, but if you're asking me which one I sort of feel attached to on a personal level, I kind of, it was the
But
first
you played
two
another Doctor.
interest. Yeah, I played
Very peculiar practice.
Very peculiar practice, yeah. So
And I hate to say it because it's ever so lovely and it's like, it just pains me that little bit.
I can feel that pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so probably, if I'm honest, All Creatures, but as I'm in a Doctor Who thing, I say Doctor wasn't bad either.
Thank you.
Hello. This is for all of you. I realize that you have a lot of knowledge and wisdom as far as entertainment goes. So what would you say were the differences in entertainment production before and versus now, and which one do you quite prefer?
Before what? Last century?
Before today.
Before COVID?
Yeah.
Or last century, you could say.
Yeah, last century.
Anyone else?
Well, let's frame it a little bit better. Let's say, of course, you all worked on classic from the 80s at different points of time, but then you all came back to do The Power of the Doctor. What were the differences in kind of production between those two eras?
In my experience, there was virtually no a difference in the way you made it. There's a difference in how it looked when it got to the screen because, all the effects that we did in very primitive ways in the studio are now done after. But I tell the story when David took over as the Doctor, and my sons were big fans of Doctor Who, and of course it looked spectacular when it came back. And so I got to visit the set with my two sons, and I was very gratified to see that although the series now had become this slick, prestige BBC One series, it was still made with just the same blind panic and confusion that it always was made. So that's never really changed. So I think now.
But it's filmed now, and it was video in our day. Most of it.
No, it's still video now. Of course, like everything's video now.
Yeah, it's come full
Yeah,
circle.
it's
It's
high.
now digital.
Yeah, it's digital, but it's
Yes, but it's. I mean, it was. You mean single? It's sort of single.
yeah, single camera is what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we had 5 cameras.
Yeah, with studio-bound stuff was
Yeah.
always a bit. I'm never really comfortable with that.
No.
In a kind of exciting series, very hard to. When you've got 5 people standing in a row.
Because it's more like being on stage, isn't it? When you've got 5 cameras in front of you.
Yeah, and you're literally.
Yeah.
You're literally waiting for the light, which you know
Yeah.
is going to take your light to
Yeah.
come online, to come on, and it makes everything become very static and stationary. But apart from that, I mean, I don't suppose they don't really do dramas like that now, do they? They don't really do the 5 cameras drama. So that's the biggest difference.
Yeah, it's and also when you had 5 cameras, you didn't know which one was on sometimes when you were doing it, and whether it was a close-up or a 2-shot or a 5-shot. Whereas working with one camera, you can have that relationship with the camera that you couldn't in those days. But I miss the sets when they wobble. I mean, at least we had sets. I mean, most of the time it's in green screen, isn't it, nowadays?
Well,
When I was in The Hobbit, that's all it was.
you were in The Hobbit?
Yes, I was in The Hobbit.
You were in the Hobbit?
Yes, I was
Wow.
in New Zealand.
It's so modest of you never to mention
Yeah.
it.
I know. I don't want to boast. I don't want to boast.
Yes, exactly.
Wasn't that the best? It was brilliant. I love the Five-ish Doctors reboot. I just
Alright, yeah.
it made me laugh so much.
Thank you.
But generally speaking, I suppose it hasn't changed that much, except that the time, there was a time in television when, if you were filming something, you didn't have that kind of time restraints where you just, if you overran, you overran. Now, I think they have to pay so much money if they overrun by 1 minute. That's, I suppose, just the union thing.
But we did have rehearsal.
Yeah, we had rehearsal.
So you do
the studio thing, yeah.
You do a week's filming outdoors, and then you'd come into the rehearsal studio. 10 days rehearsal, 2 days studio, 10 days rehearsal, 3 days studio, and that was your 4 23-minute episodes.
Yeah. So generally better, really. It's
Generally, very,
better.
very different from how it is now. Generally.
Anyway, sorry, that was a rather long-winded answer for you, wasn't it?
Next.